The NFL is still dealing with controversy after more and more cases of brain damage come up with former players. Of course, there is some evidence indicating that playing in the NFL could lead to serious concussions and long-term brain damage. Well, Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, was a linebacker for the NFL's Seattle Seahawks in the 1980s. And he claims that during his 3 seasons as a professional athlete, he suffered from some serious concussions. And now as a result, he's dealing with some brain damage like memory loss. And so he thinks that it makes sense to sue the NFL because he feels that they had withheld information about concussions to the players. And I think that this kind of settlement or this kind of lawsuit makes sense, especially considering the fact that a year and a half ago, the NFL agreed to a settlement as long as they didn't have to release the findings of a study regarding playing in the NFL and brain damage, which means that they knew that playing in the NFL probably leads to some serious brain damage. But nonetheless, even though Brian Bosworth is quite a character, I'm in favor of him doing this lawsuit. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Christian, let me start off with you since you were an athlete. What do you make of this? Make your point.
I don't know. You know, it's kind of weird because I don't know. I feel like this came up like a few years ago, and like him coming out now and saying, "Oh, I have brain damage. I have memory loss." It's kind of weird. And this guy's a pretty smart guy. I read online that he graduated early from college, and then on top of that, there was a game that he played in Denver where he was trash talking John Elway, and I think something like 10,000 fans bought like shirts saying "Ban the Boz," and it just so happens that the company that manufactured those shirts was his company.
So he sounds kind of
smart.
Like
he sounds like a pretty smart guy. So I don't know. I mean, it's been like what? 20 years since he had a like blockbuster hit. Oh wait, no, he never had a blockbuster hit movie now. No. But yeah, it's been a while, so maybe he's just trying to make some money. I don't know. Yeah. But he seems like a pretty smart dude.
Right, he does. Gina, what about you?
I am so sick of people who aren't in the public eye or, who don't do what these people do, just assuming that anyone who makes a lot of money deserves to be hurt emotionally or physically or mentally. I think it is such a poor excuse for taking care of our fellow humans. Oh, they're famous and they get all kinds of ass when they're on the road and he makes millions of dollars, so fuck them. Right. And I think that is such a horribly irresponsible and damaging way to look at another person's life. Yeah, okay, you watch football, you see somebody gets knocked around, obviously they're gonna get a little hurt. But I don't know that all these guys would have signed up for this had they known the extent of what can happen to them on the way out. And their careers, I assume, don't last very long.
I mean, he played for 3 seasons, right? And I believe his contract was $11 million.
Yeah, 10 years. 11. Yeah. At that time, it was like the biggest contract ever given.
And that's a lot of money. I would do a lot of things for $11 million. But then you have to ask somebody, well, how much is your brain worth? Right. Because I'd like to think that mine's worth more than $11 million because I can't get another one.
I mean, there's a prevalence of NFL players committing suicide because of some of the brain damage that they suffered as a result of being these professional athletes. So I'm in favor of these types of lawsuits, especially when you have this massive multi-billion-dollar organization that's making money off of these players and at the same time withholds information from them. This is information that they should have known. This was outright negligence on their part. So here's a personal question for this story. Have you ever been affected by someone else's negligence? Gina, let me start with you.
So before we came in here, I was just on my high horse about how I've never done anything wrong and let me give you the list of how other people have affected me. That bit me on the ass because right before we started, I realized something that I did that was so grossly negligent, I still feel guilty. I haven't actually even apologized to this person. It's been 10 years, I feel so guilty. Wow. So let's do it here. So I used to live in New York, and I ended up coming out to LA for a summer to see my friends, to see my dad. I was going through a breakup, whatever. Well, that was 12 years ago. I never went back. And instead of, because I was so young and I was so stupid and I was so irresponsible, so immature, instead of flying back to take care of my affairs, I just kind of assumed they would just go away, leaving this poor girl who was a dear friend to sell my stuff, to figure everything out. And I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong. I was so stupid and so immature. And if I could go back and do it all again, I would.
Did you salvage the relationship with this girl?
Not really. We've sort of connected, here and there, but I owe her a huge apology.
Oh,
I'm really sorry.
I like that you flipped the question around. Instead of focusing on someone else's negligence, you focused on your own negligence. That takes a big person.
Thanks.
All right, I forgive you, even though I wasn't the person wrong. Christian, what about you?
The one that came to mind when I was asked this question is back in 2005 when I was still playing baseball. I got hurt, like I had something wrong with my hand. And, you know, they tried to rehab it for a little while, and they were like, oh, you know, just take some time off, it'll heal up. Didn't heal up, went to the doctor, got an x-ray. Doctor said, oh, there's nothing wrong, you just have a little tendonitis. Gave me like a cortisone shot or something like that. Said, oh, just give him some rest, it'll heal up. 2-3 weeks went by, like never healed up, and finally, like, I went to another doctor, he did like an MRI with an ink test or something, they saw, oh yeah, he does have a fracture in there. And I ended up needing surgery for it. It was probably gonna be season-ending surgery anyway, but you know, it just took a while for like, it was just like they were trying to like, you know, pinch a penny here and there, so they're like, oh, we don't wanna pay for a surgery if we don't have to, but I mean, shit, man, I mean, if a guy needs a surgery, I mean, give him surgery, you know?
Right, of course.
And at that point, I felt like I was a pretty high prospect on their list. You know, sometimes maybe if a guy's a little lower on the totem pole, it's like, we didn't really invest too much money in this guy, but you know, I was pretty high on the prospect list. You know, I felt a little neglected.
Wow,
Yeah.
God, that's amazing. I would say I was a victim of negligence when someone rear-ended me on the 101 freeway in downtown LA. My car got totaled, but I was actually kind of excited about it because I really wanted a new car. So I got that nice insurance settlement, and I was like, yeah. Time for a Nissan Altima, right? That was when I got my Nissan Altima. So I guess it affected me in a negative way because I got a little shaken by the accident, but then I got a nice new car, which was good. But in terms of like actual negligence that really, really bothered me, and I'm still bitter about it, anytime I had to do like a group project in college, there's always like that lazy piece of shit that doesn't do his or her part, and then my grade gets affected by it. And let me tell you something, if you get in the way of my success, I will steamroll you.
Amen.
Right?
Girl.
I can't stand that kind of stuff.
That's like, have you seen the meme? Because now I'm going to post it on your Twitter. When it says, when I die, I want the people I did group projects with to bury me so they can let me down one more time.
Yes, that is my favorite meme, and it's 100% true.
so good.
You all know who you are. I still despise you, and I'm still bitter. All right, so comment in the section below. Have you ever been a victim of someone else's negligence? Have you ever been negligent? We do want to hear your story. And also comment on the NFL lawsuit. Do you think that the boss is justified in suing the NFL? We want to hear from you, so make sure you comment in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon.